Hey everybody, it's Gomlet X and welcome back to another premiere draft of Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Today we have another excellent rare that I will be slamming down. Pick one, pack one. Paladin class, pretty brutal card. Doesn't do much on level 1, just making your opponent's instant speed interaction cost a little bit more. Level 2, though, gives your whole field +1/+1 a good anthem effect, and level 3, the really devastating one, making it so whenever you attack, you give one of your attacking creatures +1/+1 for each other attacking creature, and double strike. Very, very brutal. Leads to some absurd swings in the late game. So Paladin class, an excellent rare, pretty easy pick one, pack one. If it weren't in here, there's a decent removal spell, Burning Hands. Okay against anything and great against green. Cloister Gargoyle, nice little value play. And not much else, to be honest. Not the most exciting pack. Got like some good late drop commons like Goblins and Air Cult Elemental and a decent little equipment, the Thieves' Tools. Not much but Paladin class going on in that pack, so a very easy pick one, pack one. And here we get a pretty excellent common to follow it up with. Priest of Ancient Lore, definitely one of the best white commons. 3 mana for a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you gain a life and draw a card. Very great value for the mana cost all around. Trades off with your opponent's early creatures, like they're 3/1s or something, while drawing you a card the turn you play it. Just some good stuff all around, and it does really good stuff with some of the synergies. If you end up in like white-green, you can actually get some +1/+1 counters out of that life gain. So, do love the Priest, and I think it'll be the pick here. Not a ton else going on in this pack. Circle of Dreams Druid is not great. It's very mana intensive. You need a lot of green mana to play it. And if you're in a 2-color deck, often by the time you've drawn 3 forests, you don't really need the mana ramp anymore. And outside of that, a bunch of just like decent commons. Herdgorger being a great 6-drop, Dungeoneer being a solid 4-drop, Valor Singer being okay. I think Priest is the best card in the pack, and it happens to be in our colors, which is absolutely lovely. So here, my favorite cards would be Feywild Trickster is actually really nice if you have some dice rolling going on, spitting out those 1/1 flyers, but white has, I think, like the least dice rolling out of any of the colors. It's not going to be the most synergistic with what we have here, but if we get a lot of blue dice rolling, it could be okay. Planar Ally is a nice late game card for any deck that wants to venture a lot. We don't really have anything that cares about that right now, but we could over time here. Owlbear is a fantastic green common, often the biggest creature on board, and similar to the Priest of Ancient Lore, any card that replaces itself when you play it with a nice little card draw is pretty excellent. And I think I'm just going to go with Owlbear here. There's also some okay removal like Charmed Sleep and Spoils of the Hunt, but nothing I think I'd take over the Owlbear. Let's see if we can't end up white-green here. White-green also just one of the best, most synergistic color combos if we can get a lot of life gain going on. That being said, nothing great in white or green here. I don't love the Loathsome Troll. It always feels particularly slow to me. Anytime you pay 4 to just throw this back on top of your library, that always feels like a really bad deal. But if you get it back to the hand or the battlefield, it's an okay card. But let's just kind of average for the cost. And the Potion of Healing is definitely not a high pick. I think the best card in here might just be a Hobgoblin Captain, just a great aggressive red card. 2 mana for a 3/1, and if you get Pack Tactics, it gets first strike as well when you're attacking with 6 or more power. So really good aggressive card that often is difficult to block as well. Goblin Morningstar is pretty solid too, but I think I like the Captain a little better than it. I think we just take the Hobgoblin Captain here. We're not really married to any of our colors this early on, so we might as well just take the best card in the pack again. Here we do have a Veteran Dungeoneer, solid white card, great value, even if you don't care that much about venturing. Just a 4 mana 3/4 that like scries one when it comes into play is okay. We have Temple of the Dragon Queen, which will be mana fixing whatever our colors end up being. It's the equivalent of an Evolving Wilds if you don't want to read all that text. It just comes into play tapped, you choose whatever color you want, and that is the color it will tap for in the future. Hulking Bugbear is pretty solid in these aggressive decks, just a 3 mana 3/3 haste, get in there, start beating people down. Could commit into like Boros aggro here by taking the Bugbear, but we could stay a little open just taking a Dungeoneer, and then we're white and X. I think Bugbear's enough better than the Dungeoneer. I will scoop it up here, see if we can't end up in Boros aggro. Unfortunately for us, nothing great for red or white. We could take Earth Cult Elemental. You are going to want 1 or 2 random like 6 drops, and Earth Cult Elemental's fine for the top end and like your red-white deck. Not super exciting though. I think Basilisk is better than that, and we are potentially green here with an Owlbear. Just take the 2-mana 1/2 Death Toucher, trades with anything they play early or anything they play late. Great with the green removal like Spoils. I could see a pretty good argument for Basilisk here, and I think that's what I'm going to roll with. The blue commons here are all pretty mediocre, kind of on par with Basilisk, and I don't think we're going to take a green-black card here. We'd have to drop all of our red or white cards to be able to do that, whereas now we could end up in green-red, white-red, red-white, any kind of combination. And we only have to drop 2 cards out of what we've drafted so far. Kind of like Temple of the Dragon Queen, it's the only card that I can take here that I will 100% play no matter what I end up in. That being said, Green Dragon's pretty solid, 6 mana for a 4/4 flyer. It also lends itself well to a really good Alpha Strike, because you play this and then the rest of your field gets Death Touch that turn. So that could be solid. Would be committing to green if I grab that. I think I'm just going to take the Temple, stay pretty wide open here between the 3 colors. Long Rest is just way too much mana, I feel like. But it is big impact. You know, for 6 mana, bring 3 things back from your grave. But yeah, this card is just so horrible early game. Often, even by like turn 6, you only have 1 or 2 cards in grave, and this doesn't do much. I'm just going to take the Elterguard Ranger here. I think it's better than the Earth Cult Elemental, and those are the only 2 cards in our colors that I think are particularly playable. But yeah, the 4/1 Reach is great at trading with any flyer, and it gives you a 2/2 Wolf when you play it, so you get 2 cards or 2 creatures out of the 1 card. I don't like main decking Plummet, so that's not the pick. Probably between Boots of Speed and You Find Some Prisoners here. I do like Boots of Speed in the red-white decks because you want a good amount of equipment if you get any of the equipment tribal. But You Find Some Prisoners can be fun. It's an anticipate that you're anticipating out of your opponent's deck. So 2 mana, instant speed, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. You get to cast one of those at some point. All right, well, we have more green cards than anything else, so it's possible we're supposed to take like a Sylvan Shepherd in case we're green-white, or like a Find the Path for a ramp card here, but I think Doorfold Champion is better than both of those by quite a bit, and it works really well with Boots of Speed. So I'm just going to stick to this kind of 3-color monstrosity we have so far, and just see where we end up. Take another Find Some Prisoners. I think we're just hoping for a red, green, or white rare in our next pack, and then we can take that and commit to that color for sure, and then we only have to pick between the 2 secondaries. All right, we're just taking some random stuff here. I guess we could take Paladin Shield because if we are red-white, we could care about equipment, but I don't love that one. Don't love Ambush on the Road either, to be honest. All right, and a blue rare it is. Sad day, but Cleric class is a pretty big card for green-white life gain. Whenever you gain life, you gain 1 more life. Whenever you gain life, if you're at level 2, you start putting +1/+1 counters on your stuff. And at level 3, the best level, return a creature from your grave to the battlefield and gain life equal to its toughness. A really big swing late in the game to gain a bunch of life and get a creature back. I think this is the best card in the pack. Maybe except for Hobgoblin Captain, just because of how good this is aggressively. But it is definitely one of the top cards in the pack, and I'm going to take it here. And I think we're trying to go white-green life gain now, drop the red out of the deck. So maybe it would have been best to take that Sylvan Shepherd over the Doorfold Champion with how things have ended up here. Let's see if we can hop into green-white. Unfortunately, not really to any fault of our own. We're going to get no white or green cards in pack 2. Because whoever opened the pack just took the rare. There just happened to be no good white or green cards in here. Like Choose Your Weapon and +2 Mace are kind of playable, like mediocre filler stuff. Neither of these cards are something I'm happy to take pick 2 though. I honestly think I'd rather take Evolving Wilds over either of those and get some better mana fixing. Maybe if we end up with enough Temple of the Dragon Queen Evolving Wilds type cards, we could just play full Naya, just red, green, and white. If we get some treasure tokens as well. It's not super likely, but I'm not particularly excited by any of the cards in our colors, so I'm just going to take the mana fixing. Well, this is sad. The best card here is definitely Magic Missile. Am I just taking Magic Missile? I mean, Moonblessed Cleric, actually, Moonblessed Cleric kind of slaps with Cleric class and Paladin class. No matter what, we're grabbing a pretty bonkers class. Even if we've already drawn one of them, we can grab the other one. So Moonblessed Cleric's pretty great here, but Magic Missile's also excellent. And the only thing like super pushing us into green-white over anything else is the Cleric class. That's definitely where it's best. It's still okay in like red-white. I feel like Moonblessed Cleric is often the kind of card we can wheel pretty late, so hopefully we can get those later, but it would be good in our deck. I think I'm just going to take Magic Missile. The opportunities to kill 2 creatures off of this one removal spell are actually relatively often because of popular cards like Hobgoblin Captain and Dwarfhold Captain, or Dwarfhold Champion. If they have like this and a 2/2 out and you get to kill both with a Magic Missile, that's always excellent. To where Magic Missile, I think, is just the strongest card in that pack. And here it's Minimus Containment. Nice enchantment-based removal spell that can get rid of any card, not just creatures. It gets rid of planeswalkers, artifacts, enchantments by making them a treasure token. The big downside of it is it does die to main deckable enchantment hate, such as Dawnbringer Cleric and Baleful Beholder. Here I'm pretty happy to take another Dwarfhold Champion. We want to have a decent amount of 2-mana creatures, like 5 of them, for our aggressive decks. It's between that and the You Hear Something on Watch. This is kind of the defensive removal spell, but on the offensive it can get the field +1/+1. Still, I think in general, a little less exciting than the Champion, who I will scoop up here. And there's Brunor Battlehammer. We're going to scoop that right up and commit to red-white equipment here. So kind of bounced around between the 3 colors for a while there, but it looks like it's panning out pretty well here. We have some excellent removal, some nice early game creatures, and now pretty bomb legendary to build around with some more equipment. Right now we just have the Boots of Speed, but we can certainly look for some more as things progress. Whoa, mouse. Oh my god, I hate my mouse so much. I am not going to try to drag anything if I can help it for the rest of this. I'm just going to click on them and then click confirm pick, because sometimes my mouse drops. It just like lets go of the holding and then double clicks a lot. So it almost just slam picked Compelled Duel for no reason. I'm just going to take another Dwarfhold Champion over Delver's Torch. I don't love this card. I don't really even like it unless you really, really want to venture a lot. And we don't really care about venturing at all in this deck. We don't have any cards that care about completing dungeons, which is the biggest reason to want to venture a ton. So now I'll just take the random removal because I'm not a big fan of You Come to the Null Camp. It's just pretty low impact on either half of it. Obviously, they Intimidate them can win the game sometimes, but I don't really like spending a card on that. I'll just take Paladin Shield. Not super excited about any of the cards there. Not excited about any of this. We'll just take some more Prisoners. Maybe we just get to cast a boatload of cards from our opponent's decks. Honestly, I'm going to take Spiked Pit Trap over anything else here. Just a fine, mediocre, playable removal spell for any deck, really. So we can take that Spiked Pit Trap just in case we end up with a low enough amount of removal that we end up wanting to play it. And Gloomstalker's kind of similar. If we end up with a low enough amount of creatures, we can just play a 3-mana 2/3. Never exciting, never what we really want, but it's possible that we just need more creatures. Probably not playing Dungeon Map in here because we don't have anything to ramp into. We would only really play it for venturing. Well, Orcus is easily one of the best rares in the whole set. We don't have any treasure tokens yet, but off of even just Evolving Wilds and Temple of the Dragon Queen, Orcus is a strong enough card that I think we try to splash it. Even if we don't end up with treasures, we just play like 3 or 4 swamps in here with our Evolving Wilds and Temple. Because this card's absurd. A 4-mana 5/3 trample. I'm sorry, a 4-mana 5/3 flying trample is already a ridiculously good rate for a limited card, and this also potentially wraths the board off of the X mana to give creatures -X/-X, or brings back 1 or 2 of your creatures off of the X mana, bring back X mana value of creatures. So Orcus is just an absurd card. I'm happy to play it and try to splash it here when we already have 2 mana fixers, and now we'll just shoot for more pretty highly. Hand of Vecna is always ridiculous in these aggressive decks. If you can equip this onto something on turn 3, that'll often win the game right there. Although a Kalain would be pretty exciting too. The problem with Kalain is you want to play Kalain in the early game to be as powerful as possible. And if black is our splash, we're not often going to be casting Kalane turn 2. And because, again, black is our splash color, the treasure token from Kalane being mana fixing doesn't really matter. If your mana fixing is in the color that you're trying to mana fix into, it's like, well, you've already got the mana you were looking for. So I'm just going to take Hand of Vecna over Kalane here. Now, no treasure tokens here. I suppose we could use a Mimic if we really, really need that mana fixing, or a Spiked Pit Trap. But even just like scrying helps. We can take like a Veteran Dungeoneer here to scry when it comes into play. Scry into the lands that we need. We could take Dueling Rapier to work with Brunor, but now we have really good equipment. We have a Hand of Vecna and like a Boots of Speed. Don't have like a boatload of equipment, but the ones that we have are pretty great. With 4 2-mana creatures, I could still use a little bit more, but I don't think I want Dawnbringer Cleric here. I guess it works with Cleric class, but kind of just like the 4-drop Venture card here. Now we have a Farida's Fireball. We don't have a ton of removal, do we? That could work out well here. Could use a Wish, I guess, as a really late game card, but we don't have anything great to grab with it unless we have a ton of treasure tokens out, and we are not going to have a lot of treasures. Yeah, I think I just like the Fireball here. We don't have a ton of removal, right? We have Spiked Pit Trap that I'd like to cut. Divine Smite that I'd like to cut, because it only works against black. Magic Missile, Minimus Containment. We have 2 good removal spells, 2 mediocre ones. I think I like Fireball a little bit better than some of our mediocre removal here. Oh, another Kalane here, pick 5. Wow. Maybe I just got absolutely blindsided by our rares and red-black was super open this whole time, but it didn't look insanely open to me. I guess Kalane's by far the best card in this pack. We only have 10 creatures, though. How likely is it that we get enough black cards to have black be the core and something else be a splash? It's incredibly unlikely. If anything else was going to be a splash, it would be red, so I don't even think Kalane is good. I think we just take a Gloomstalker. Just some filler creature. What is going on with the card distribution here? Wizards 3 packs in a row had a Kalane in them? Good lord. Well, that's a sad time to see. But now it's between Improvised Weaponry and Plundering Barbarian for something that we just play for 3, get a treasure out of. We definitely want those cards to play Orcus. I think I prefer the Plundering Barbarian give us a creature on board because we're low on creatures right now. It gives us more cards to equip Hand of Vecna onto. We'll take another 2-drop creature here. We only have 4. Definitely would like 5 of them, and Dwarfhold Champion works pretty well with Hand of Vecna. Flumph. Our friend Flumph. Well, I don't want to play Paladin Shield. I don't want to play Delver's Torch. I don't want to splash in Lightfoot Rogue. So, rare draft of Flumph. Get my 4th copy for my playset. But Flumph is pretty much unplayable and limited. Just a 0-4 for 2 that lets both players draw cards throughout the game. This doesn't look like it's going to be a bag of holding deck. I don't really want like the card that's just a mana sink. Doesn't really help attack or block at all. Armory Veteran, though, that is a card I will slam into here. Excellent with a Hand of Vecna on it. Now we got a gigantic menace attacker early on. And we'll take the Dueling Rapier here to go with Brunor, and we'll probably play it. All right, so we got some pretty nice pickups in that last pack. Orcus to try to splash in here, but not a ton of treasures still. So Orcus is going to be a difficult splash, but still a powerful enough card that it's worth it, I think. And of course, we got some decent little equipment there at the end. Let's have a look-see through the deck. Pretty sure we're cutting all non-creatures. Yeah, we only have 14 creatures in the deck. Definitely going to cut 5 non-creatures here. Looking towards cutting Divine Smite. This is only playable if we're playing against black, in my opinion. 2 mana to phase a card out and spend a card on that. It's just not worth it. Paladin Shield is just kind of dirtily for me. All of the value that you get off of this card, in my opinion, is just by the little combat trick of saving one of your creatures with the +0/+2. Afterwards, spending 3 mana to just give a little bit of toughness to something is just so much of a mana sink. So I really don't like Paladin Shield. I'll cut that out here. Don't love your Ambush on the Road. If we have like a million enter the battlefield effects, it's okay. because you can use it to stop a removal spell of your opponent and then recast a creature, get its ETB again, but we don't have that many. We have like two or three. Yeah, we have Plundering Barbarian, Priest of Ancient Lore, and Veteran Dungeoneer for like 3 enter the battlefield effects. I guess if we're in Magical Christmas Land, where we cast an Orcus and then save 1 white mana up, and then they try to remove it and we put it back in our hand, then recast it and do the X-Men effect, like then Ambush on the Road's pretty good, but I'm pretty sure this card's only good in very specific situations in this deck, so I'm going to cut that there. 2 more cuts, and again, we're definitely cutting non-creature stuff here. We don't have any lifelink in the deck. Unfortunately, we didn't see any Steadfast Paladins going late at all. They were all drying up after like pick 2 and 3, really. So Cleric class isn't that good here. It's very slow, but yeah, it's very slow. The entire value that we get off of this card is on level 3. So I think that's just too slow for us. If we had just a marginal amount of lifelink, it might be okay, but we're only just in it for level 3, so I think we cut Cleric class, and then we cut 1 more card here. It is pretty fun to cast cards out of your opponent's deck, but it's also not the greatest thing ever. I think I'm just going to keep these You Find Some Prisoners in anyway, because it makes for some ridiculous moments. If you ever get really lucky and you get to cast your opponent's Orcus against them, that's always pretty dumb. I'm going to leave those in. Cut something else here, maybe a Spiked Pit Trap. Without a Spiked Pit Trap, we still have Fireball, Magic Missile, and Minimus Containment. It's only 3 removal spells. That is a little bit low in terms of interaction. Could cut a Gloomstalker, but I really don't like going down to 13 creatures. That seems very low on creatures. But it is like the weakest card in the whole deck, in my opinion. It's just a 3 mana 2/3. That's it. We're never completing a dungeon in here. We've got no creatures we could throw in except for Flumph. I don't want to put a Flumph in here over a Gloomstalker. I do think that Gloomstalker is probably better than Flumph, at least. Oh, I love that we have 6 2-mana creatures to go with our Hand of Vecna. I wonder what percentage of my drafts have I played Hand of Vecna in? Is it like 50%? Because I feel like it's like 50%. We get so many Hand of Vecnas. I just get rid of like the Dueling Rapier, I guess. No, I do love the +2 power for only 1 mana to get these Hobgoblin Captains like really active really fast. Plus, throwing it on at instant speed to a Dwarfhold Champion gives that +2 toughness at instant speed. And we have 4 of these, so we have 4 cards that combo super well with the Rapier. We have Armory Veteran also combo super well with Rapier. Yeah, no, let's take Spiked Pit Trap out. Try to use Rapier as like our 4th removal spell, as like a combat tricky removal spell, to have our creature trade up into something or to give it that extra toughness out of nowhere to win the combat. So yeah, take Spiked Pit Trap out, and then here's the 40 card deck. We have 2 Swamps, Evolving Wilds, and Temple of the Dragon Queen to help cast Orcus. We also have a Plundering Barbarian to give us a treasure token to help cast Orcus. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential black sources, 1 out of every 8 cards. On average, we'll hit that after we draw 1 card, because after you draw 1 card, you've seen 8 cards, 7 in the opener, and then 1 more. So that seems good to me for hitting an Orcus. We don't need the black source until turn 4. So that gives us a little more time to hit it. So yeah, that seems really good. I guess the thing we have to consider is that Evolving Wilds and Temple of the Dragon Queen are quite often going to just be a red or white source. Like if we have a Mountain, Plains, and Temple in hand, and we have a Magic Missile or Bugbear in hand, we're just going to immediately choose red on it, because we need to cast those things. So in those situations, these aren't black sources, because we could end up with a hand where we try to play one of these turn 3 and we end up drawing an Orcus and getting stuck on our black sources for a little while longer. So there is that to consider, but I think 5 potential black sources is still good because of what I just said, where we don't actually need to cast Orcus until arguably even turn 6 or turn 7. It's still a highly impactful card. So we can wait a bit on the red and black sources. So 7 red, 6 white. It's like a nice number of both of those. Should hit those pretty consistently. We have 12 red cards and 11 white cards. So just very slightly more red than white, and also have a couple double reds. That seems like a good reason To me, to run 7 mountains and 6 plains. Again, just one more red source than white for the double costs. And the one more card. All right. Seems like a good deck to me. Red-white equipment here. I mean, actually, not the greatest deck ever. Our creatures are pretty mediocre. The fact that we have to run just 3 mana 2/3s that don't do anything is not great. But we can quite often get out with some powerful 2-drops, and we have some big bombs in the deck. We have a Hand of Vecna, a Paladin class, and an Orcus. So I think the mean card quality, like the average card quality in this deck, is like really good because of how many bombs we have, but the median card quality is probably not the greatest because we have a lot of mediocre cards. Look at me saying math words that I don't even know well. I think I want to just play Dwarfhold Champion here. It's going to suck if they play a 2/2 next turn, because then we could have played Armory Veteran, then leveled up and been attacking with a 3/3 against their 2/2. But if our 3/1 trades into a 2/2, that's fine. And then we can just play the Armory Veteran this turn instead of leveling up the Paladin class. And if they don't play a creature here, we get to level up Paladin class and just slam in for 4. Which is extra spicy. Ooh, they play a 2/3. Well, I guess trading with a 2/3 is better than trading with a 2/2. Kind of like just attacking here and then playing another creature. Because leveling up the Paladin class is not going to make our creature survive a trade situation. It does make the most out of our mana to just level up the Paladin class here, though. Also just like getting out as aggressive as possible, getting out as many creatures on the board as quickly as possible here. The problem with that is now we're probably playing Veteran Dungeoneer turn 4, and then like when are we getting to level 3 on Paladin class? It's going to be a while. Choosing to play the class slowly but our creatures quickly here, and I don't know if that's going to pan out for us. We will find out as things progress. Spoils of the Hunt to blow up the 2/2. Get an attack off with the Outlander? No, interesting. Would have expected just an attack with the Outlander there because they didn't want to trade last turn. So they probably don't want to trade this turn either. I guess we'll find out. I guess they've accepted. They've got to just stop some damage here. All right, Dungeoneer it is. Scry 1 off of the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Try to hit some more creatures. The 5th land for the Paladin class is okay. But Paladin class isn't even that insane unless we have more creatures to play around with, and the Plundering Barbarian gives us the 5th mana by giving us a treasure token anyway, so we're already set on leveling this up to level 5. Well. I don't like that they have Gretchen out now. They have a great mana sink. They get to start drawing extra cards and playing extra lands. I do like that our opponents like green-blue ramp here, because that means that interrogating them to find some prisoners will potentially draw us like a 6-drop. So if we play that later, that could be pretty spicy. I'm kind of interested in playing Plundering Barbarian and leveling up Paladin class, and I think I'm going to go for it here. It's possible that this blows up in our face, because now I've gotten rid of my black source. So if I draw Orcus, I'll be a very sad player here. But this way, I get to get the attack off with Veteran Dungeoneer, as well as now I have a 3/3 and a 4/5 out to be as aggressive as possible, which is really nice. I could have alternatively just leveled up the Paladin class and didn't spend the treasure token, or didn't cast the Barbarian in the first place, but I like getting these strong attackers out here, because I'm also against a deck, green-blue here, that can ramp into some big 7/6 style creatures that are going to just stop all our aggression eventually. I think we just level up Paladin class and attack with Double Strike here, right? They have 3 power on their board, so if we attack both and give Barbarian the Double Strike, they can't kill any of our creatures on blocks. And they also if they want to stop some damage, have to chump block only. And they have to stop some damage here. They take 12? I guess they could take 12 and go to 1 life, but I'm pretty sure I get a chump block off here. Yeah, we get to kill the Scaled Herbalist. Their 1/3 lizard that could let them play an additional land each turn. Pretty small card at this point in the game, so definitely makes sense as the chump block. There is our opponent's 5th mana, 6th if they untap a land with Clever Conjurer. They do play a Feywild Trickster here. If they do any dice rolling, that'll be pretty spicy. We do draw land for an Orcus, which is great. I think we play land, slam down a Boots of Speed. They have 4 power now, but Dungeoneer has 5 toughness, so I think I just slap Boots onto the one we're going to give Double Strike, which is going to be Barbarian. And then attack both. Buff Barbarian. And then we'll cast our Interrogate them during our opponent's end step, so we can cast one of their cards against them next turn. And they choose to chump block with the 2/2 that could have maybe made some more chump blockers. That tells us a couple things. They probably don't have any dice rolling in hand, and they probably have some really big cards in their deck where they need the mana from Clever Conjurer to cast them. Like the 6 mana 7/6 that gains some life when they play it. Probably one of their biggest outs here. So we are going to interrogate them during their end step here, see what we get to cast next turn. All right. Spoils the Vault, Bar the Gate, and Clever Conjurer. I think I just like spoils here. And they're just going to scoop them up. Because we're already in a really good position where they're forced into multiple chump blocks here. Yeah, because we could put the Boots on the 4/5 and it becomes a 5/5, so 5 damage would be lethal. And then we can give the Barbarian Double Strike, so that would be lethal. So they have to make 2 chump blocks already. And then plus if we cast the removal spell against them, then their board's completely gone, so they're dead in 2 turns unless they draw something insane. So that is going to be a game where Paladin class just takes it all the way to victory. Pretty absurd card, as we have seen before. 1-0, heading into a round 2. Heckin' Bamboozled is our opponent for round 2. Fantastic name, and I love keeping this hand against them because we could potentially bamboozle them with the Doorfold Champion, give it 2 extra toughness out of nowhere. So if we play this and then they try to block it with a 2/2 of their own and we get to play Dueling Rapier in response, we could heckin' bamboozle heckin' bamboozled. So I'm just going to do everything I can to make that happen by playing Dwarfhold Champion turn 2 instead of the Hobgoblin Captain turn 2. Ooh. This is almost definitely not the right play to make, but I'm just going to attack in here and go for the Rapier, because we could just play a Captain here and not attack, which would probably be pretty good, maybe even better. We get to do it. Heckin' bamboozled the opponent with surprise +2 toughness. All right, I'm sorry. That was such an exciting moment for me. Again, probably would have been better to just play a solid dude there. But I could not resist the heckin' bamboozle. Okay, so now we just play the Hobgoblin Captain. 3/1 over the 2/3 because they have no blockers out right now, so just get more damage in. It's also going to be a first striker on attacks, so it attacks in better than a 2/3 also. Do I just hold on to this Plains for like Hand of Vecna reasons? I feel like that's a question I've asked a million times in my life. I'm not going to do it. The main thing we need is another red source. But there's a world in which we draw like a 2-drop and then we go Gloomstalker 2-drop. Alright, just attack for 8 here, I guess. We've got 4 green mana. They're down to 7. Here's Gloomstalker. I am going to hold on to this Plains because I honestly see 0 point in having this on the battlefield now. Because we're not going to double spell anytime soon. We'd need 4 red mana to do that. Inspiring Bard. Gain some life and get a 3/3 out there that can trade off with the Dwarfold Champion. If I play a Bugbear here, that's pretty excellent. But 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exact lethal if I just kill the Bard. So we'll just kill the Bard. Not a great game for Heckin' Bamboozled. Unfortunately, stuck on 1 color of mana and not a lot of cards to play. The Dueling Rapier to just kill one of their only blockers without losing a creature actually probably did win us the game in the end. At least made it so we won the game slightly faster. So in a way, Heckin' Bamboozled was their own downfall there, because I don't know if I would have went for the Bamboozle if it weren't for their name. But it is an excellent name. It is extremely worth it. Well, this is weird. I can play a land out of our opponent's deck with Find Some Prisoners, so we can make sure we hit our 3rd mana for Magic Missile here. This is a weird one, but I think I'm going to keep this and try to play a land out of our opponent's deck if we don't hit a land here, because any land will make sure we have the mana we need for Magic Missile and Bugbear now. So let's see if we can't take their land as a prisoner, I guess. How does the flavor work on that one? There's a Horde Robber. All right, they've got a pretty great curve. To punish us for just not playing anything here. I have taken your forest prisoner. Your lands are forfeit. All right. 3 mana, Magic Missile. Can blow up the Outlander here, or I can just play a 3/3 for blocks. 3/3 blocks pretty much anything they have decently well here. Yeah, I can just play a 3/3 and they just don't really attack unless they kill it. Magic Missile is just a 1-for-1 trade. We're not getting any fancy 2-for-1s out of it or anything. I like just playing the Bugbear here. They're 2 power away from triggering Pack Tactics. If they had enough power to just trigger Pack Tactics here, I think I would just Magic Missile the Outlander. But they don't, so I'll just play the good blocker here. Yeah, now we just start getting chipped away by the Horde Robber. They only have 2 cards left in their hands, so it's unlikely that the treasure tokens do that much for them. Just help them cast some 6-drops here. Definitely going to Evolving Wilds for a Plains so that we can cast our whole hand throughout this game. And then I think that I kind of want a Plundering Barbarian just to kill the Thieves' Tools and the Horde Robber. Because it's either Plundering Barbarian or Magic Missile here. And I, again, don't really want to Missile the Outlander when we have a 3/3 to block it. It's not doing much here. And I could make the treasure token. The treasure token would help us cast Fireball or cast 2 champions in 1 turn or something like that, but I don't think that we need it. I think it's going to be a bigger impact throughout the game to just make sure they can't make things unblockable later. Can't just keep chipping away at us. Ooh, Lair of the Hydra's pretty nasty. Vorpal Sword's pretty nasty too. Well, I'm pretty scared. Luckily, they only have 1 black mana here, so they're going to need more treasure tokens if they want to keep moving that Vorpal Sword around. So I think I'm going to trade with a Horde Robber with my Bugbear, because if I don't trade right now, they get a treasure token here, or I chump block. Chump blocking seems bad. If I give them a treasure token, then they have a black from Swamp and a black from the treasure. They get to start moving that sword again. I'd like to potentially keep them from re-equipping that all over the place. So definitely in hindsight, Magic Missile first would have been great for us because they just happened to play a powerful rare artifact this turn over the common one we blew up. See if that ends up costing us the game here. I think that we do just go for the trade here. So we have 3-1s to block their 2-3s here. Still have plenty of blocks to play around with throughout this game. We do draw our 5th mana. Can fireball the Outlander away, and they're down to 1 creature now. Just the Neverwinter Dryad. Is it worth fireballing it? Not really. I can just play 2 3-1s here, and we trade with anything they attack with. And we also have the Heckin' Bamboozle, the Dueling Rapier, to give +0/+2, or +2/+2, to a Dwarfhold champion at instant speed. Not really going to block with Barbarian, and I'm pretty happy with a trade with the Outlander on attacks. Right? Yeah, I think I'm happy with an Outlander trade, so hopefully they just don't block here. But if they do block, we can make it go in our favor, so it's okay. A little sad that I won't get the opportunity to hack and bamboozle them if they do block here. But they didn't block, so it's okay. It's all good. Ooh, sack of the Dryad, so they must have a 6-mana card here. Or actually just for the Lair of the Hydra. I completely forgot that card existed, and it's probably what's going to kill me here. Become an absolutely massive attacker. I guess I can double block to kill it, which might be worth it. Currently, if I throw a Dueling Rapier onto a Dwarfhold champion, it'll be a 5/5, which is big enough to trade into the lair. Oh no, it's only a 4/4? Oh, this could be even better. The biggest heckin' bamboozle. But they do venture into the dungeon here, so they're getting a little bit of value off of this, but this is going to be a big one. It's going to be a big old boozle. We'll let them scry before they see that we have a Dueling Rapier in case they have Artifact Hate on top or something. Oh wait, it's a 5/3, not a 5/5. I completely forgot the Rapier doesn't give +2 toughness naturally. It's the champion giving itself +2 toughness, but still killing all their stuff there seems pretty dang good. And we do have the Swamp for the Orcus. I'm just gonna hold it in hand. That way, if we draw like a Hand of Vecna instead, Hand of Vecna is as impactful as possible, because the only time we'll need to have played this Swamp is if we draw Orcus, so we can just wait to play it until we do. Brunor. Ooh, Brunor to make our stuff even bigger? Don't mind if I do, and it makes the equip cost 2 less, so it only costs 2 mana to re-equip that everywhere. They don't have enough mana to equip that Vorpal Sword here, so if they just crack back at us, we just take 2, that's fine. Don't block with Brunor. And even if they can throw the sword on there, they can't make us lose the game. They need triple black and 5 more for that. Aw, Spoils of the Hunt. Yeah, that ruins our fun. We don't get to hit him for 6 here. I guess they could have traded regardless. Don't want to just play land, equip Rapier onto Battlehammer? Yeah, I mean, now that Brunor is just giving creatures +2 power for each equipment attached to them, even if we have no cards in hand, Hand of Vecna is doing something. I guess this does play poorly if they just slam down the removal spell for Brunor. Orcus, my boy. All right. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Get a Dwarfhold champion back on the board here. Just attack Brunor and see what happens, and then we play Orcus. Bring back a 2-drop creature. Wait, does it give haste? Oh, it gives haste. So we could have had a hasting 3/1 here. Oops. Definitely a misplay. Attacking with a hasting 3/1 here would be pretty excellent. Trades with the Outlander, hits for 3 more. But Orcus is still the best post-combat play easily. But we should have just main phased the Orcus. That was a derp on my end. Just did not even realize the haste there. All right, they're at 5 life, facing a 5/3 trample flyer. I guess they do have a reach creature, but they need trump blockers for the other creatures as well, and it looks like they do not have that. So that will be a victory for Brunor. My accents are terrible. 3-0. Whatever happens from this point on, an average record, 3-3 being the worst we can possibly do. Fairly fantastic draft so far with some ridiculous rares piling up in this deck. Turn 2. Oh my god, this hand. Okay. I was going to say turn 2 Paladin class, but we're going to play turn 2 Dwarful Champion, turn 3 Hand of Vecna. We'll need to draw land for that, but I guess if we don't draw land, the worst case scenario in this hand is a turn 2 Dwarful Champion, turn 3 Paladin class. But wow, the best case scenario for this hand is absolutely ridiculous, and I would never want to be on the receiving end of this one. Let's see what happens here. There's the land, turn 3 Hand of Vecna. Choo-choo. Here comes the pain train. Brick would be proud. They're down to 13 here on turn 3. Are they stuck on... Okay, I was going to say, are they stuck on 2 mana here? Because then I'd feel really grimy. But at least they hit the 3rd mana here. They could have a magic missile to get rid of the champion. Could have a dragon's breath, dragon's fire, whatever it's called, to get rid of the champion as well. The 2 mana 3 damage spell. Could have some outs to not dying immediately. Even just a chump blocker is okay here. But by far the best cards they could have would just be a cheap removal spell. If they have a Plundering Barbarian, actually, that's probably the best card they could possibly have. A 2-2 to trade with our 3-1 that also blows up the hand when they play it. Probably the best card they could possibly have here. Let's see. Price of Loyalty to just slam right back at us. But Hand of Vecna only triggers during the owner's turn. So because Hand of Vecna is still on my field, they don't actually do that much damage, unfortunately, for them. I think we play Paladin class. Don't level it up here. Paladin class and just another creature. Yeah, I like Paladin class, Priest of Ancient Lore as the play. So even if they kill Dwarful Champion, we throw the equipment onto the Priest and kill them with the Priest instead. But things are looking pretty excellent for us. We have a Hand of Vecna and a Paladin class on the board. I am not sure there are many decks in the format that are ever going to beat that. They need like a reverse bomb here. They need like an Orcus to wipe our whole board or something. They don't have enough mana to do that yet. Hey, there's the Plundering Barbarian. That is very helpful here. Get rid of the Hand of Vecna. But they're down to 5 already. They're going to take 3 more damage this turn. Luckily, since they got rid of the Hand of Vecna, I can just dump all my cards out main phase 1. I don't have to think as hard. So they trade with the 4-2, take 3, go to 2 life, and we play another attacker here. They need 2 blockers. And we can buff the Paladin class to level 3 next turn, so we're attacking with a double striker as well to make it definitely just a chump block. Ooh, Swarming Goblins. That might be the best 2 cards in a row they could have had here. Plundering Barbarian to Swarming Goblins. If anything's going to give them a chance, it's going to be that sequence of cards. Well, we definitely need Paladin class to give double strike. Paladin class to give double strike every time we attack and just attack with Dwarful Champion. That forces a chump block. Get rid of 1 goblin that way. If we attack both, give Priest +1 double strike, I guess. Then they trade with Dwarful Champion with 2 1/1s. And then chump. I guess if I give double strike here, the only way they survive is by blocking with 2 of their creatures, right? So they have to either chump with both goblins, or they can kill one of our creatures, but the only way they can kill one of our creatures is by trading with Swarming Goblins, correct? I think. We might as well give Champion double strike because Ancient Lore is also already lethal, so we'll give the better one double strike. So now they go chump block there, trade there, or they can go double chump block there, but then they'll have to chump block there. Yeah, there's no way, they can't like kill this with 2 1/1s without also losing the Swarming Goblins. So yeah, we just throw that there. Doesn't really matter. All right. Yeah, I was going to say the only way that they can kill our Priest of Ancient Lore and still have a creature on board is to do exactly that. So, and that is just a good deal for us. Now we'll crack Evolving Wilds, so we're less likely to draw land here. Can also grab the Black Source. If our opponent gets Hand of Vecna into Paladin Class into Orcust here, I might just quit playing because that is an absolutely evil sequence of events. That is a really you've become the villain moment. Well, Skullport Merchant's pretty good here. They can sacrifice that treasure token to draw a card. They can chump block with the Goblin and then sack it to draw a card. So pretty great. Pretty solid stuff. I'm actually kind of rooting for my opponent here. If this slips away from us, then it's really impressively played by our opponent. Yeah, Veteran into Barbarian here. Just as many attackers as possible. 4/2 Double Striker forces just a chump with the Goblin. So chump Goblin, draw a card here. All right. Yeah, our opponent has had a very, very nice reverse sequence of plays here. Plundering Barbarians, Swarming Goblins, and Skullport Merchant, all 3 of these, some of the best cards in the whole format to have in Retaliation. Might as well destroy their treasure token. I'm not going to have any use for one of my own. So this way we stop them from drawing a card off of it, or keep them off 1 more mana there. They already killed our Hand of Vecna, didn't they? Yeah. I don't know why I forgot that I played a Hand of Vecna this game. Could have just slammed down the Plains then. All right. 2 life. They do have the Price of Loyalty. Sacrifice that to the Skullport Merchant. We're down to 2 creatures. They need to play another blocker here to survive. So they have to have 2 mana to be able to sacrifice the champion, and then 2 more mana to play a creature. So they need a creature that costs 2 or less after the sacrifice here to survive. And even if they survive, it needs to be a good creature to be able to trade. Because then they chump block with the 1/4 and then trade with the other one. All right, unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the retaliation from them. Could not keep drawing solutions to the ridiculous rare problems that we put in their face there. So 1,400 gems and 3 packs, no matter what. I am very happy with how this draft has gone. We got some excellent rares to play around with, excellent rares for the collection, and now no matter what, we're getting 1,400 gems and 3 packs as well. Super, super great draft here. We get to go for that turn 1 Evolving Wilds. I have 2 cards that require double red, and only 1 card that requires a black mana, so I think I grab Mountain here. Although I do have a lot more opportunities to grab the second red source if I do happen to hit a double red card, so maybe I just grab a Swamp. Just on the real off chance of Orcus. Because if I grab a Mountain, I'm still more likely to draw a 3rd Mountain than I am to draw a 1st Swamp. You know what? Grab a Swamp here. We do get a treasure token off the Plundering Barbarian, so now we're set even if we draw a double red card. I kind of like playing Dwarfhold Champion here. Yep, just on the off chance we draw our Heckin' Bamboozler. That has been really good. So I highly, highly recommend the 1 red mana +2/+0 thing that attaches if you have 4 Dwarfhold Champions in your deck like I do. That has been a significantly good combo and a significantly impactful one at that. Let's just trade champions here or slap them for 3. Trading champions. The fairest trade in the game. An exact trade. Kind of like playing a Barbarian here, but I also like holding on to it in case they have good artifacts, because we're not going to need a treasure token at basically any point. So I could just play a 3-1 here or try to draw a card out of their deck. Rather wait to draw cards out of their deck until I have enough mana to cast even like the biggest spell I could hit, like a 6-draw or something, 6-drop or something. So I'll just play another 3-1 here. All right, they're stuck on mono white here, triple white, another Dwarfhold champion. I honestly think Hobgoblin Captain for Dwarfhold champion is actually a trade slightly in their favor, but I think I still just make that trade. It's not worth spending a card to make it so they can't block for one turn here. And I don't think it's worth waiting till I get Pack Tactics either. I think I just keep trading off with the early game stuff. All right, at this point, we can just curve out by getting the treasure token. Again, they're going to have an empty board here, so it's worth getting another creature out here, even if it means that I don't get to get a better card off of the enter the battlefield effect of the Barbarian. Because now if they just don't hit their second color and they don't have a creature because of it, then we just slam in for 4. So I think it's pretty important to just curve out. There's the Dueling Rapier. Make a menacing Armory Veteran. That seems pretty sweet. Would I rather just kill an Arborea Pegasus? I don't think I would. I think I'd rather have a menacing veteran out than kill the Pegasus. I guess if I attack with exclusively Plundering Barbarian, the only way they could block is Pegasus and the Barbarian. Like, I would love to kill the Pegasus with our Barbarian with Dueling Rapier. But I feel like if I attack all, they're going to block Armory Veteran. And then I have to lose my potentially 4-2 Menace to kill their flyer. Which is a sad time. You know, as sad of a time as that is, it's probably all in all worth it here. Because now we clear their board again. Even if they play another creature, we get to attack with like a 4-2 here. I'm going to cast Find Some Prisoners, though. See if I draw something good out of their deck. Another Dwarfhold champion. All right, well, 2-2 trades into that, so I'll probably just do that. I'm a little worried that I am definitely running out of cards before them. But hopefully Interrogate Them will help here. Draw something real sweet out of their deck. Ooh, white, red, and green. Oh, Lord. All right, +2 Mace or Dueling Rapier. We do have 5 mana, so we can play and equip the Mace, which is a +2/+2 instead of a +2/+0, so we'll definitely go for the bigger buff. That also makes the Barbarian big enough to attack in and not trade, which is excellent. Yeah, so we just hit for 4 there. And I'm not going to play the land, because we do have a ridiculous, absurd, bomb, rare Hand of Vecna in this deck. Oh my god, Brunor. Well, now I'm playing the land, because that means I get to equip the Rapier. Oh, wait. Oh, it makes the equip cost 0, not 2 less. I don't know why I thought it just made them cost 2 less. Wow, Brunor's absolutely absurd. Good lord. All right, I didn't need to play that land. That was dumb. Well, opponent's at 4 life. If they play another blocker here, then they do survive. Well, Plundering Barbarian, blow up one of these equipments. Blow up the +2/+2 Mace. We're left with 1 equipment left. Either of these creatures hitting them is lethal, though, so they have to block both. But if they blow up the +2 Mace here, then they can trade their Plundering Barbarian for my Plundering Barbarian and their Dwarfhold Champion for my Brunor. So, yeah, blowing up +2 Mace is absolutely massive here. Maybe they really want a treasure token for some reason. Otherwise, I'm not sure what's taking them so long. Oh my god, what do they need the treasure for? That's huge. That's so interesting. Let's see what they cast here then. They're gonna kill Brunor? Treasure token for the Dragon's Fire to kill Brunor to be extra safe there. Alright, well that means they have to double block to kill Barbarian then. And we get the double kill off it. Very nice. Now we get to play a Gloomstalker, throw a +2 Mace onto it. Every creature we draw from now on is going to be big enough to kill them. We've got 4 extra power we can put on them with our equipments. So, fortunately for our opponent, I think pretty much just their mana issues were going to cost them that game because they did consistently have more cards in hand than us, so they absolutely could stabilize if they could cast like everything they had, but I'm assuming they just had like 3 green cards there. They're probably a deck that has like a lot of treasures in their red stuff, and that's how they can just play a full 3-color deck here, because we did see that forest there. Yeah, I mean, it could also just be a bunch of basics in hand, could just be flooded out, but seeing the 3 colors from them, seeing them stuck on white mana for so long, I have to feel like they just got some really unfortunate mana issues that game. 5-0, an absolutely excellent start to this draft as we head into round 6. All right, opponents on the play. We got turn 2 Dwarfhold Champion, which I will play before the Armory Veteran because it will hit our opponent for more damage if they don't get to block it. And we'll also, as like my word of the day that I've gotten so excited about, it will also potentially heckin' bamboozle them. But maybe I do just want to trade a 2-2 for a 2-2 and have my 3-1 later. Trading a 3-1 for the 2-2 is also fine. Which one of these would I rather have later in the game? Honestly, getting Menace when it's equipped is like just as spicy as getting +2 toughness. Maybe even spicier. So maybe we prefer the Veteran to be our card we have later in the game. I don't know. Let's play the Champion here. Playing against Black-Red here. Hired Hexblade into Vampire Spawn, a 2-2, and a 2-3 that drains us for 2 life. So they're at 22, we're at 18. See if they go for an attack here. All right, no blocks, because if I attack back, I'll do more damage than they dealt, as well as potentially trade a 3-1 for a 2-3, which I think is a pretty great trade. Don't really want to Minimus Containment something as small as a 2-3, so I believe I'll play my 2-2 and crack an Evolving Wilds this turn. Three damage it is. They're down to 19. We'll play our Armory Veteran and crack an Evolving Wilds here for a black source because we have 2 white and 2 red mana, so let's just make sure we can cast any spell in our deck that we draw, including but not limited to Orcus. Improvised Weaponry, pretty great from our opponent in a Treasures deck. Gets to kill one of our creatures as well as create a treasure token, so we're down to just a 3-1 here. May even have to consider just holding it back for blocks. Yeah, this is where these black-red treasure decks get really devastating, is next turn, if I just slam down a Veteran Dungeoneer and then they have the spell that can steal one of my creatures, then they just steal my 3-4 that I play here, attack with everybody, sack my 3-4, and I'm in an absolute world of hurt. That card's kind of going to destroy me either way, even if I Minimus Containment the Sepulchre Ghoul so that they can't sacrifice my Dungeoneer here. Then they can just steal the Dwarfhold Champion, hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can just use it to try to find lethal. Honestly, in the color pair, I think it is worth it to just Minimus Containment that Ghoul so that I don't get blown out by the Act of Treason temporary steal effect here. If I play Dungeoneer, they steal that. I can block that to block as much damage as possible. I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world. And I do get a Venture, so I get a Scry here. And I'm in a deck with 3 ridiculous rares. So Scrying is more valuable than usual even. Just helps us dig to those. Yeah, we'll get the Scry out of it, but I would not be surprised to see our Veteran Dungeoneer die here. If they do active treason it and go for the all attack, we'll block the Sepulchre Ghoul with the Dwarfhold Champion so that we can get the Ghoul out of there so they can't active treason any of our creatures in the future. I suppose if they have the treason effect and they don't attack with Sepulchre Ghoul, then that does blow a lot. Because then we still have to be worried about the Ghoul and take a bunch of damage this turn and lose a creature. Power word kill. All right, well, it's not active treason. And a shambling ghast. Excellent with the sepulchre ghoul. They can sacrifice that to get my 3/1 -1/-1 for the turn here. And +2/+2 to the ghouls. They attack for 8. We are very likely just dead. We have to draw something great here. Hand of Vecna is something great. However, not for this position. We can kill one of their cards here and die to 4 damage from the other 2, I suppose. The only chance we have is to draw something ridiculous out of our opponent's deck with You Find Some Prisoners. So let's interrogate them, see what they've got here. We need something absolutely absurd, and we just have a Hoarding Ogre, so that is game. That will be our first loss, 5-1 it is. Here we are in round 7, 5-1. We've got our Orcus that we could play turn 3 potentially if we just want to play it as a flyer. I am going to keep this hand. We're going to go red on Temple of the Dragon Queen. That way we turn 2 Dorful Champion, turn 3 Barbarian. We do need to draw some lands here, but if we do, this hand will be excellent. Even if we don't, we have some plays. We can play Dorful Champion. We can play You Find Some Prisoners just to draw land out of our opponent's deck again. Because we have a red source, we have a white source, we need any land to cast our next card here. So play the Dwarfhold Champion here. Next turn, if we don't hit a mana, I'll just find some prisoners, play even potentially a swamp out of their deck, but probably a mountain. Yeah, let's find some prisoners here. I guess we do get blown out pretty hard if there's not a land in their top 3. Which could be rough. Maybe we're supposed to just play Dwarfhold Champion then. It is until the end of our next turn, so if we don't immediately hit a land, we can just grab a 2-drop out of their deck. So if we hit a land or a 2-drop, we get something out of this. I think hitting a land here is really important for the curve out. So I kind of think I am going to find some prisoners here. All right, I was getting real worried there, but we do hit the mountain. Exactly what we needed. And I'm not going to attack here. I actually just want to keep him off treasure, so I'll trade with Horde Robber on blocks. All right, they can just kill the Dwarfhold Champion. Well, we lost 3 damage then. But at least that forced the Ray of Enfeeblement to kill that rather than anything else they could potentially kill later. Barbarian lets us cast Orcus next turn. Hulking Bugbear just slams in for 3. Orcus is good as just a 5/3 flying trample, but it is better the later we play it, because then, you know, if we play it for 6 mana, we play an Orcus and a Dwarfhold Champion on the 1 card, which is really, really good. So maybe we just Magic Missile the Horde Robber to keep them off mana here, because they didn't play a 3rd land that turn. We can also Plundering Barbarian and destroy their treasure token. But then I'm not getting a treasure off Barbarian, which is pretty not good. I could also just play Bugbear and hold it as a blocker to try to keep them off treasure, blocking the Horde Robber. Kind of do just like Bugbear here. Alright, well, they hit a land here. So they probably just kill this too. Precipitous Drop, just make it a 1/1. Really great draws for our opponent. Just the cheap removal right off the bat to keep us from blocking here. Making sure the Horde Robber keeps them flowing with treasures, and they do hit the 3rd land as well. So we do have the Orcus mana now. It would be Orcus is just a 5/3. They've played a lot of removal already, but they probably still have more. Yeah, I mean, they have 5 mana up. Can't play 2 cards here. I guess I could play Barbarian, get a treasure, and play Champion. Doesn't seem all that good, though. Maybe I should have just magic missiled this Horde Robber earlier. I think Orcus, again, is a lot better if we can bring something back out of our grave when we play it. So I think that I'm just going to make a treasure and hold back here. And it's also possible, like, we can do Orcus the other way around. If we make it to 7 mana, we can Orcus and give everything -3/-3, and hopefully just, like, wipe their whole board. If they play anything other than Horde Robber, if it's small enough. Just give everything -3/-3. So Planning Barbarian's big enough to just sit here blocking the Horde Robber. If they have, like, a Manticore or something, that's fine. They spend it on a 2/2. Drider is the play. I do definitely like killing that with our magic missile. I think I just kill it immediately. I guess if I keep Bugbear back, then I can double block Horde Robber and kill it, but then they just won't attack with the Horde Robber. So I don't see the point, really, when I could be chipping in for damage. I think the only reason to hold Bugbear back is if I wanted to chump block with it if they kill our Barbarian, and I don't want to do that. If they kill our Barbarian, they can get the treasure token. Because, yeah, holding it back if they don't have removal, they just never attack. And it's the exact same thing that happens if we just keep blocking with Barbarian and they bounce off each other. Precipitous drop, blow up the Barbarian. Fair enough. But yeah, that's what I was saying there, where they do have the removal, but I'm not going to chump block that. I'll let them get the treasure. And a Hobgoblin Captain is the next play. They don't have Pack Tactics, though. They just have 5 power. So that's not horrible. Orcus to give everything -1/-1 actually is looking a little spicy here. Kill Hobgoblin Captain and their Goblin token. I suppose I could just play like a 2/3 here and have pretty good blockers and hope that they play more small stuff. Do an even bigger swing with Orcus next turn. Because now I just block Horde Robber with a 2/3, Hobgoblin Captain with a 1/1. Yeah, we'll see what they're doing here, but I think this works out really well for us. Even if they have some kind of trick here. And of course, this makes Orcus a little less exciting, but trading a 1/1 into a 3/1 is an incredibly good deal. I'm not gonna not do that. All right, now we're definitely trying to hit one more mana for Orcus to give everything -2/-2, because that'll shut off Death Priest of Merkel and all of its tokens, and that is incredibly important. So any creatures I play here are just going to be more fodder that'll die to Orcus. But I do need enough blockers to not take 1,000,000 damage. I'll play one of these Doorfold Champions because I have 1,000,000 of them, so they're definitely more replaceable right now. But I don't think I want to play an Armory Veteran as well. I think just 2 blockers should be good enough for me. We're really just fingers crossed on a land here. All right. Seems good to me. And a Vampire Spawn, which is a 3/4 as long as the Death Priest is out. Boots of Speed makes a Doorfold Champion actually a high enough toughness to survive an Orcus for -2/-2. And just a 4/3 in general is a pretty great blocker here. Could trade with the Vampire Spawn because we're not going to have enough mana to kill that. We'll need 3 extra mana after we spend the 4 on Orcus, so we'll need 7 mana total to kill Vampire Spawn. Because if we spend 7, everything gets -3/-3. Death Priest will die, so it won't get +1/+1 anymore. It'll just be a 2/3. 2/3 with -3/-3 will be fine. All right, we'll just make the trade here. Because we just have no guarantee when we're going to hit the land. Veteran Dungeoneer is great. Scry 1. That'll definitely help get to that Orcus mana. There we go. There's the 6th mana. Orcus here to get that one-sided board wipe next turn. Should really help us stabilize here and get back into the swing of things. But even just a 3-4, like our board, a 2-3 and a 3-4 already blocks really well. But a fireball will stop that. So, yep, Orcus, do the one-sided board wipe here. We go pretty low here, just not great. But they're down to 2 cards in hand. We wipe the whole board. That is great. All right, X is 2. Everybody -2, -2. I should have attacked first. I could have got 2 damage in there. They were never going to block with the 2/2. Definitely should have attacked first. Gelatinous cube on the Orcus. All right. That is definitely a solution to that problem. But a Dwarfhold Champion's big enough to block that thing. We can Ferret's Fireball in and he'll come back immediately. What an excellent draw. Good lord. And a nat 20. Really exemplifying what just happened there with how lucky I got. Good lord. That was so lucky. We weren't in that bad of a spot without that. We get to play a hasty Armory Veteran with Menace to slap him for 3, and then we play a 3/1 to block their 4/3. But, Fate's Reversal to bring back the Gelatinous Cube to hand. Get rid of Orcus again. It's going to be annoying, but now we go back to that plan that I was saying of the Armory Veteran Dwarfhold Champion thing. All right, we didn't naturally draw like a Magic Missile here, so I guess we already cast our Magic Missile, so we didn't get the most lucky in the universe. Just got pretty lucky this game. All right, Armory Veteran, Boots of Speed, get in there, play a 3/1 to block the cube if they attack with it. I guess throwing a Boots of Speed onto anything makes it big enough to block the cube. So we could also just attack in with a friggin' 4/3 haste. Yeah, no, we just do that, right? That's slightly more damage that way. Get in for 1 more damage because there's no way they block. If they block, we get our Orcus back. And then we play Armory Veteran and make sure to throw those boots onto somebody else so that we can make the block here. I'm going to put it on the 2/3 to make it a 3/3 for the block, because I would rather lose the 2/3 that doesn't have a good ability for us than the potential Menacer. Swarming Goblins. That is very bad for us. This Goblin token is really going to help our opponent restabilize. And now I think we just sit here. I mean, I guess we can attack with a 4/3. If we attack with a 4/3 of our own, the only way they kill it is by blocking with their own 4/3. So we just throw the boots onto our Dwarfhold Champion and send that in. Because the only way they can kill it is with a 4/3. They can chump block it with 1 Goblin, but we're whittling away their creatures that way, so that all in all ends up pretty good for us. I am at 6 life, so I do have to worry about retaliation here. Well, it looks like we are trading 4/3s, so that is nice all around. Keeping this in hand if we draw our Hand of Vecna now. Our Orcus is pretty much permanently gone. They just have to engulf it, or dissolve it for 5 mana whenever they want. So we're never going to need that extra X mana. We could need the extra cards in hand. Slam in with the cube. I'll block with the Gloomstalker. I guess the Gloomstalker was actually a better attacker than the Veteran, so I should have had the Veteran equipped, because then the Veteran trading for the cube means we just start slamming him with the Gloomstalker in the future. Ooh, Hobgoblin Captain, give it haste here. We get to attack with it with Pack Tactics. We lose Armory Veteran to the 2/1/1s, but then we have that out. Yeah, that seems good. I guess it depends what these 2 cards in their hand are, but hopefully they're doing the same thing as us and just sandbagging some lands. Double block there. We deal 4. They're down to 7. And those are cleared off. So we've got 1 dude against their 0 dudes. Fingers crossed. They've drawn in Evolving Wilds here. We find some prisoners. Let's see what prisoners we may find here. I'm going to interrogate them pre-combat in case they have some haste creatures. They are a red deck. I guess if they have any creatures, we can give it haste with Boots of Speed, so this might win on the spot if we get a good creature. Alright, these aren't that great, but we can take the Fangblade. That's the best creature they have there. Venture into the dungeon here. Get a 1/1 Goblin. That's actually pretty huge. Yeah, we're attacking for 6 power here, which means we hit Pack Tactics. We also get to venture with the Fangblade. Excellent draw off of the interrogation. They're at 1 life here, facing 3 creatures. If they have an active treason, we have a chump blocker. Magic Missile to kill 2 of them. 2 cards left in hand here. Do they have the blocker for the 1/1 as well? They do not. I have all lands in hand, but let's see if we can't slam in here. Equip just in case they can gain 1 life out of nowhere. There's nothing from the opponent. We will win that one in the end. Very, very close one. Pretty crazy back and forth game there. With the spicy double gelatinous cube from our opponent, so that'll make us 6 wins and 1 loss here. Excellent draft overall, getting 1,800 gems in 5 packs. We have 2 more games to find our 7th win here to get a trophy run, a full win run. See if I can't do it here. And we've got a nice long matchmaking queue here in anticipation. My apologies for these. They are probably going to be a little longer in the coming videos this month, as I do record at like 1 a.m. now on my days off, since I am on overnights. So there is that. But I will be here to keep you company after I take a nice sip from my drink, if the matchmaking does take a while there. I'll say some random words. We'll fill the airtime. All right. Pretty excellent hand here. We have all 3 of our colors and the double red for cards like Magic Missile. We have a turn 2 3/1 and a turn 3 Magic Missile to make sure it can have its path cleared to get in. This looks quite great all around. Our opponent's on red as well, starting with a mountain. Turn 2, we'll see what they have. Swamp, another red-black deck here. And a Hobgoblin Captain is the play. Could missile that, but if they play another card here, we can get a really nice 2-for-1. So I kind of want to just play a Veteran, crack an Evolving Wilds, and see if that pans out well for us. I'm just going to grab a white source here. I think we're doing well on our red mana. We have 3 red. Should be good. So let's see. If they play like a Plundering Barbarian, little 2/2, get a treasure token, then our Magic Missile is going to be excellent next turn. Hulking Bugbear, though, is a 3/3, which makes the Hobgoblin Captain first strike here. I think we trade our 3/1 up into the 3/3. If I don't draw anything to play, I might just missile the Hobgoblin Captain, but if I draw anything else to play, I think I will find some prisoners and still try to hold off the Magic Missile for the potential 2-for-1. Let's play the black source. I don't think I attack here. We'll go for the end step, find some prisoners. Because if I don't attack, it might hold off the Hobgoblin Captain from attacking. If they do attack with it, then I'm not going to block, but there's the potential of getting them to not attack by holding back the Armory Veteran. I don't know if that's worth the 2 damage that I'm not getting, though. So we find some prisoners. We can cast anything out of their deck that costs 5 or less, because we'll be able to cast it till the end of our next turn. We have a 5th land in hand. So should be able to cast almost anything in a red-black deck. Unless we hit like a red dragon or a black dragon, then I guess we'll be a little bit sad. Have to cast something a little smaller, but I think we should be good. All right, I'm very happy to see a 2/2. Very, very happy to see Battlecry Goblin. Being able to kill Battlecry Goblin and the Hobgoblin Captain with our Magic Missile here is going to be absolutely excellent. These are two very high quality cards, especially the Battlecry Goblin that can spit out other creatures there. I think I'm not even going to find some prisoners now because I'm guaranteed going to cast Magic Missile next turn. That's going to soak up 3 of my mana. If I find some prisoners here, I'll only be able to cast something that costs 2 or less. And I'd rather not do that. I'd rather draw as big of a card as I can off of that. So, Magic Missile here. Blow all of that stuff up. Absolutely wonderful. And we have a Dueling Rapier to throw on the Armory Veteran in the future. So I don't think I'll be making any trades with the Hexblade, although I do have to be worried about my life total being at 14 against them at 20. Swarming Goblins is very bad for me. That is a 4/3. All right, now I'm almost definitely going to have to trade the Armory Veteran up into the Swarming Goblins. Does Hand of Vecna help at all here? I don't think it does, because Hand of Vecna doesn't help on the defensive, only giving additional power, so I don't think I even play it. I just hold it for later. I am going to play the land so we can cast bigger stuff off of Find Some Prisoners, but I think the play here is to block Swarming Goblins, throw a Dueling Rapier onto Armory Veteran, and then cast You Find Some Prisoners to interrogate our opponent. And we hope to get a high impact card like a Swarming Goblins of our own that could really turn things around for us. All right. Do they have another Swarming Goblins? Please do. Dragon's Flame, Magic Missile. Well, Magic Missile is fantastic here. Just clear that board. And then play our own Bugbear. Get slapping in. The Hand of Vecna is looking really sad here, but we did need all of that mana out to be able to do all of that, so definitely worth it. Not worth the 4 mana to suit up the Dueling Rapier to the Bugbear, so I think I'm just playing a Dungeoneer here. So just slam in for 3, get a Dungeoneer down. And scry 1 in the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Get that land out of here. If my mouse could work. Thank you, mouse. Alright, and it looks like our opponent just getting flooded here. Rapier gives +2/+2, Hand of Vecna gives +1. So I think we just spend all our mana throwing a hand onto a Bugbear. Attack for 8, they're dead next turn. Hold the Temple in case we need Hand of Vecna to give extra power here. Find Some Prisoners again. Do I want to draw a card out of their deck, or do I want to play Hand of Vecna here? If I play Hand of Vecna here, do I have immediate lethal? No. But I can force a chump block on the Bugbear, which is pretty excellent. I think I go for that. I mean, I guess I throw it on Dungeoneer, and it would be a trade with the Channeler. If I throw Hand of Vecna onto the Bugbear, I think, yeah, I'd rather get in for the guaranteed 3 damage and turn it into a chump block instead of a trade. The other way around, I could guarantee 5 damage, so I know I'm putting them to 1, but then I'd trade instead of making them chump block. I think it's better to make them chump block there, leave as many creatures out as possible. And they scoop them up. That'll be a 7-1 run out of this Premier Draft on the back of some excellent rares, some of which I have cast a lot in the past, and some of which are a little new to the videos at least. I don't think I have drafted an Orcus yet on video, but I have certainly drafted several Hand of Vecnas and a Paladin class or 2 before. I think one of my Paladin class games or decks was a sealed deck though. But anyway, that'll be a 7-1 Premier Draft today. Absolutely excellent. Get 2,200 gems in 6 packs. Really been having an absolute roll lately with these drafts. So let's get these 6 extra packs here. See how close we get to completing the set. I think we're getting pretty close because a lot of the packs I've been opening have been having some duplicate rares, which I assume I have a ton of. like the dancing sword and stuff. So pretty close to completing the set here, I believe. Yep, nothing in the rare slot has said it's a new card at this point, so that's pretty exciting. Good old Volo, really fun card to build around with in Commander and Historic Brawl. And the final rare, Gelatinous Cube. Definitely a card that had some good airtime today from our opponent last round. But that will end today's draft. If you're enjoying the videos, as always, you can like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know so, and it will recommend you more of them. And yeah, we've got some great things on the horizon, as I've been saying. Draft challenges, the high risk, high reward kind of draft events, the very competitive level draft events are coming back on August 7th or something like that. I should look up the calendar again, but pretty soon, and I'll be doing a few of those if I can. And we've got Historic Horizons coming to Arena very soon. That'll add a bunch of cards to Historic for Historic Brawl and Commander. Those would be the formats that I care about. And also, you just get to play around with them in a Jumpstart format, which is really fun. So I'll definitely be doing some of those as Jumpstart events as well. So some cool stuff around the corner. But until then, I'd like to thank you all for watching these premiere drafts, especially if you've made it to the end of this video. And as always, I will see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.